everybody, Kelly Money here from Nanlite USA, and today I'm super excited to announce the brand new PavoTubes coming from Nanlite. The brand new PavoTube II X series. We have the 15X, the 30X, and our 8-footer, the 60X. Now you're probably asking what are the differences between the first generation and the second generation, and that's a very good question. So the major upgrade, in my opinion, with these PavoTubes is the ability for the tubes to do pixel mapping. So you'll notice that actually each segment of the light allows you to do different variations of color, as opposed to our previous generation, which if you had it all red, it was all red. And even if you had it on a cycle to go from one color to another, it would go from a blue into a purple. And at any given moment, the entire tube was one singular color. But in these, you can actually have different colors. You could do a rainbow effect, or you could have different fading effects, and you could have different CCT effects. And it can go within the different segments of the light to give you a different visual to play with. Now that really allows you to be able to kind of do music videos in a different way, or have these lights in the scene in a different way, but it also lets you do like different interesting effects. Like if you wanted the light to kind of go from one end of the tube to the other end of the tube, you can make it seem like someone's in a car and the light is changing on their face. There's just endless creative possibilities with this. So right off the bat, you're gonna see that the 15X is just very well built. It's made out of aluminum. It's very solid feeling. Something that you'll really notice is that the ends of the light look a lot different than our previous generation. We don't have as much black sticking out at the end. We don't have the knobs that turn on the side, and the power button is no longer at the end of the light. So they look more like fixtures that could actually be inside of a scene or work as practicals. We also have at the edge, we have little edges that we can lean very easily on a table. And we can make the light go in any angle we want it to go in. We also have 1/4-20s on the bottom sides of the light, but also at the base of the light. And that's really, again, another way of mounting it, or to use the eyeball. A very big difference between the previous generation as well is actually the diffusion of the light. So in the previous generation, occasionally you could actually see the individual LEDs in the tube itself. However, in the new tubes, the diffusion is much more upgraded and much more sleek, so you don't actually see the LEDs. So that's really awesome if you want to put these in your actual setup or in the actual scene, whether it's a music video or if you wanted to use these as like practical lights in a scene for an office space. The diffusion really helps with that, and also the lack of extra black edges helps with that, because it really makes the tube feel a lot more like a practical light. And you may notice that there's actually a big similarity between the new PavoTubes, the 15X and 30X, and the PavoTube II XC, which is the 10-inch light that Nanlite makes. They are built in a very similar way. You can see that the diffusion is very similar. It's just the overall aesthetic and feel are very similar to the PavoTube II XC. You'll also notice that the menu system is different. So now that we've moved from having extra length of blackness on the edges with knobs to turn, we now have a means of turning on the light with a switch, and we can navigate through the menu through these buttons on the menu panel. And on top of that, the CRI and TLCI are actually a little bit better. The CRI is a 97 and the TLCI is a 98. And of course, these are still RGB WW. So not only are the CRI and TLCI even better, but the Kelvin range on these has expanded. Now you can go from 2700 to 12,000 Kelvin. So that gives you a much more broad spectrum in terms of options that you have. Other than the Kelvin range, these lights also have plus and minus, green and magenta. Even if you're just trying to do a daylight or tungsten, you can actually play with the green and magenta to fine tune it and finesse it to exactly what you want. So not only do they have all of the effects that the previous generation has, but they also have 10 pixel effects that really kind of take advantage of the pixel mapping. Now, obviously a very big deal is being able to control your lights wirelessly. And today, Nanlite is coming out with their NANLINK app. That will be a huge part of their NANLINK system. So this app will indeed control the new PavoTube II X series, which does have built-in Bluetooth. But the NANLINK system will control much more than just the new PavoTubes. If you want to know more about the app, please make sure to check out the article linked in the description of this video. Another pretty big deal, the ability to use DMX with the new PavoTube X series, giving you even more control. So now let's take a look at what comes with the lights. So here you can see each light comes with its own clamp with a 1/4 in the bottom, and that basically will help you mount it to whatever you need. And these are the typical clamps that Nanlite has. And what is nice about the fact that they're see-through is it won't block the actual light coming through the tube when you mount them, especially if you decide to have them in your scene. Each tube has its own power cable. So that's a very big update to take note of. If you get a 2 kit or a 3 kit or a 4 kit, each tube will come with its own power supply. They actually come with these little eye bolts, and these eye bolts are actually something that come with a 1/4 screw that you can screw into the light, and then it gives you this loop. And that loop allows you to actually thread it with basically a safety cable or some kind of wiring, and you can really hang these tubes in any way that you want to. So Nanlite's also coming out with a lot of different accessories to go along with these tubes. They have floor stands, they have clips that also have magnets on the back of them, which means that you can use these guys a lot like you could use the PavoTube II X, which has built-in magnets, and you can use their T12 clip with a magnet on it to be able to really mount these anywhere. They also have new barn doors coming out that actually has a little window with Velcro that you can pull back so that you can actually see the menu clearly and to make the changes that you might need to make to the light while the barn doors are already on it. So for me, the most exciting accessory is actually the waterproof casing. I haven't gotten my hands on it yet, but it's a tube that you can actually put the lighting tubes into, and they become waterproof, and they're even IP68. So that is our first look at the new PavoTube X series. If you guys have any questions, if you have any comments, if you want to tell us how you guys would use this creatively, please let us know in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.